Hi, folks. It's Keith Beardsley, a Tory 01, back with another blog. Today, we're looking at some comments made by Jean Chretien the other day. Now, for those who've been around as long as me, he was elected back in 1993 and Prime Minister, Liberal Prime Minister, replacing Kim Campbell. He was asked on the 30th anniversary of his win what he thought about Parliament today, and he called it dull as hell. Absolutely right. Nothing is more boring than watching our modern day parliament. So boring, you rarely even see questions being asked on the news now. Now, part of that, yeah, maybe social media, but a lot of it has to do with how Canadians see parliament. And I mean that literally. When you watch parliament, what do you see? You see a mess. You see rudeness. You see lack of decorum, disrespect, and so on. Absolutely correct. Now, why? Well, part of it, I guess, and I agree with Chretien on one comment. He said back then you had to speak. You couldn't read what you were going to say. You weren't allowed notes. Notes were considered a prop. You look at these clowns in the House today. They're standing up to ask a question, which is written on their cell phone, and they just read it out. Somebody sent it to them. You watch speeches in the House. They're read, prepared by somebody in red. Back in those days, in the Moroni years, which is what I remember a lot of, you couldn't do that. You spoke from the heart. You had a real debate. You didn't stand up in a so called debate and read notes that somebody prepared for you. So it was very, very different. You had to know your stuff. You had to be on your feet. You had to speak. You couldn't just read. The other thing that I think has done a lot of damage to the House, and take it from someone who ran question period for 10 years, both on the opposition and government side, is the stupid speakers list. Few people realize that at the start of at the start of question period, the opposition hands the speaker a list of their questions and the order they want them asked and who's going to ask them. Sounds simple, but it takes a lot of the discretion of the speaker away. Can you imagine if you were rude and obnoxious in the House? You still get to ask a question. In the old days, you had to stand and be recognized, and MPs would literally jump out of their seats for the speaker to recognize them. If you want to be a jerk in the House of Commons, speaker would just ignore you. So, if you want the speaker to get control, get rid of the speakers list. It won't solve all the problems, but will certainly help because the speaker will determine who's going to ask a question, not the government side, not the opposition side. It's all done by the speaker. Put him back in control of that. The other thing that you get into this hybrid parliament, what a stupid idea. You run for election. I don't care what province you're in. You could be in BC, you can be in the Yukon. When you run for election, you know the job, you know why you're doing it, you're well paid, and you're paid to fly in and out to Ottawa. That comes with the job. It doesn't mean when you get elected, you can sit at home behind your computer and ask a question in question period or take part in a debate. Absolutely stupid idea. Anyways, it's not my generation in charge over there. It's a different generation doing things differently. Sometimes, though, new is not always better. Keith Beardsley, a Tory 01, wishing you a great day.